Hello, this is Lucas coming at you once again. Just testing out some new AudioTechnica, I think that's how you say it, um, headphones, which is pretty funny. I was trying to, I'm just trying to build my podcasting setup, and I don't really know why I bought studio monitor headphones, Audio Technica ATH M40X. So I didn't get the 50X. I got the 40X. $100 headphones. I got them used. Not Samsung, Amazon used, which I love because you can basically trust that more than likely these headphones were opened and looked at and then put back in the box and sent back because they were not right, or they just assumed that you know how it is when you buy stuff from Amazon. You buy it and then sometimes you're like, why did I buy this? I don't need it. I'm sending it back. I've done that. I've not even opened a box before. I've just sent it back because I was like, you know what? I got a little click happy on this one. So yeah, so far so good, but I'm questioning whether I need them. I have a $30 pair of Bluetooth headphones that have a headphone jack. So I was just jacking that into the computer and doing the podcast with that. So I'm kind of like, do I want to get my $80 back, or do I want to keep these? But yeah, so I just wanted to fire up a podcast and see if I get a little bit more immersive with these headphones. And so far, I think they're very similar to the other ones. Although the other ones, after 15 minutes, your ears are sweating and they kind of hurt. I have fairly large ears, so these Audio Technicas they feel big enough. They're not circular, which is great because I don't know of anybody's ears that are a solid circle, but headphones seem to like to make them circular. But yeah, so just wanted to also just talk about Tesla for a brief minute. I have no stock in Tesla, and I have no vehicle. I drive so much that I cannot do a Tesla. Tesla is, I think the max is like 300 miles, and in one day I can drive 900 miles. So that wouldn't work for me. I mean, obviously 900 miles would be quite insane of a day, but I do that every once in a while, a couple times a year. I'll put in that amount of miles in one day, or I should say in 14 to 18 hours. But yeah, so I cannot do a Tesla because I can't live with, range anxiety and whatnot. So I'm just hoping that they come out with a thousand miler. If they can have a battery that lasts 1,000 miles, that would be insane. But one of the things that I keep hearing and keep reading articles on Tesla is everyone saying like, oh, here comes the Tesla killer, and oh, this company is gearing up to basically in Tesla. And if you go back to the beginning of Tesla and what the goal of Tesla was in the beginning, and maybe still is now, it was a company that was supposed to change the status quo. It was supposed to push all the other automakers into electric. And so every time I hear someone say, oh, this is a Tesla killer, I go, no, Tesla's winning. They're getting what they want out of the other automakers. They're forcing them into a situation where they must create electric vehicles, and in the end, they're going to create a cleaner environment. They're going to create a cleaner Earth. And whether solar and lithium ion batteries, whether all that is actually polluting less, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how batteries are made. That's definitely something I have no clue about, but I'm sure that the pollution going into that is great. But that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, when I read articles where people are saying, oh, here comes the Tesla killer, I'm just like, do you not know the manifesto of Tesla and what their ultimate goal was? I mean, obviously they want to have a thriving business. They need to have a thriving business. But at the end of the day, if all the other automakers start to make electric vehicles to compete with Tesla, Tesla won. And that's what it's looking like right now. I mean, it's quite amazing. Another thing that I find very funny is Tesla is offering up their power pack, their charging stations for all the other automakers, and they're saying, look, take what we have, put it in your vehicle. Let's make a uniform, seamless charging for all the vehicles. And every company is turning them down and making their own. And in the end, it creates different plugs to charge. It creates lesser quality batteries, lesser quality power packs. And at the end of the day, all the other electric vehicles prior to 2018 have basically up and failed. I mean, you have the Chevy Bolt, you have the Chevy Volt, you have several other, BMW had, one of those boxy electric vehicles, and none of them really took off. None of them became like the direct competitor to the Tesla. And I believe that's a direct result of, Tesla or them not taking up Tesla's offer. I mean, it's like, come on, like, what are you guys doing? But, we'll just continue down this vein of Tesla and the self-driving car. The funniest thing about Tesla being a self-driving car is the fact that it's really not a self-driving car, and the actual abilities that it has are very, very limited. And I believe as of the last bit of information I read and I got, is the ability to track inanimate objects fails after 45 miles per hour. So if you're going 70, 80 miles an hour, if you're going 50 miles an hour, and there is an object on the road in front of you, a mile down the road or whatever, and you're not paying attention, you're going to smash right into that. And that's what happened to that guy in Florida on his 2-hour commute. Guy decided to take a nap and smashed into the back of I think it was like a Nissan Leaf or something. And they said that the only reason why he survived was it wasn't a full-size sedan. So if that had been another Tesla or, a BMW, the guy would have died. And that's terrifying. So I think that everyone needs to just become more aware of the fact that you're buying a vehicle that I think people have said is super smart, almost autonomous, and almost able to drive itself from point A to point B. And that's absolutely not true, at least as of the last bit of information I gathered. But it seems like they're constantly pushing new software updates and changing things and trying to make it more and more and more autonomous. But at the end of the day, if you're getting in that thing and going to sleep, you are really, really pushing it. But yeah, so my vision of said future is a vision that we've had forever, which is self-driving cars, and then eventually flying vehicles. And my theory is that as we go further into full autonomous vehicles, full I don't want to say sentient vehicles, but vehicles that are processing at such a high level that humans can't even compete with it anymore. We're going to start to see a grid forming where all the vehicles are communicating with each other, all the roads are communicating with the vehicles, all of the sensors, everything's communicating, and that's going to allow for vehicles to go faster. And as we know, humans love to follow the path of least resistance, and we like to move quicker. So we went from the horse to the car, and now we've kind of stopped. Like, we have not evolved past the car. I mean, yes, the car has evolved, but in terms of getting from point A to point B faster, the car is basically the same as it's always been. If it's stuck on the ground, that limits its speed. But my belief is that once we start to blank out the windows and we start to focus more on what's inside the vehicle and less on what's outside, we will trust fully in the vehicle, and it will begin to go faster and faster and faster because we are not paying attention to what it's doing. And once it hits, basically terminal velocity for said, rectangle object, we're going to then push for it to fly into the sky. And humans processing a flying vehicle, it seems insane. Like, we look at that and we go, oh no, that's not going to work. But when it's an AI flying said car, it's no brainer. Like, it's literally like the same as it following a grid on the ground. It will follow a grid in the sky. All the vehicles in the sky will communicate with each other. And I believe that's how we're going to get into flying vehicles. And if you just progress past that and you go, okay, flying vehicles in the sky, then we will eventually start to move towards other things that are going to be in the sky. And I believe that, the future that we've painted in science fiction movies, it's slowly going to start to appear in a very short amount of time. Like, I think in the next 20 years, we're going to be blown away. And I think that we've said this before. In the 90s, we said, in 20 years, we're going to be doing all this crazy stuff. And a lot of it we are doing, but it's not the same as what we thought it would be. So yeah, I think that we need to be traveling faster. We need to get from point A to point B faster. And that's going to bring about the next revolution, really, because every time we've sped up our travel, we've been able to do more and create more. And humans need to travel farther, faster in order for us to be more linked together. Following this vein further down, maybe 50 years from now, I believe that there is going to come of 2 or more breakthrough inventions, and those 3 combined, I believe will create the teleportation device. I mean, we're already able to do that with tiny particles right now, and they're already able to somewhat teleport, but it's not in any way what you would think it is. It is a very primitive form of teleportation. But I believe that we will, at least in my lifetime, I'm 31 now, I definitely believe that I will be teleporting at some point in my lifetime. And I believe that will change this globe and possibly change travel of interplanet travel. Like, that's what I believe. I believe that when we, as we know with Elon Musk, he's going to terraform Mars. And I believe that the only way to have an Earth and a Mars, or an Earth and an Earth 2.0, is you have to be able to travel between the two in a relatively short time. So imagine a teleportation device on Earth and then a receiving device on Mars, and you can have a daily commute where you go from Earth to Mars to go to work at 9 a.m. So you know, oh, I got to get in the teleportation device, and 15 seconds later, you arrive in Mars and you go to work. The same thing will happen on Earth. You will have people who are traveling from America to China to Australia, back to America, all in one day. Like, just imagine that, all in one day. The speed of, as if you're sending an email. Like, that email would be you. You would be arriving in their inbox in seconds. And I definitely believe that will be the time when we remove borders, and we say we are a global human, not a country human. And I think that a country human is a primitive human. It's a human that, at one point we needed the borders. At one point we needed this is my land, not your land, because we're more savage and we're more aggressive. And when you start to look at it as a global, you start to look at it as they're not the other anymore, they're us. And when you have us, you have working together, you have functionality, because you don't go to war with your teammate. You don't do it. You may argue, you may fight, but at the end of the day, you're a teammate. You don't go to war. So that's my belief. Yeah. So that's my rambling for the day. Yeah, these AudioTechnica headphones, I think they're good. I'm not sure yet. They're feeling a little warm. I've extremely sensitive ears, and I may have to get an open back set of studio headphones, but we'll see. So once again, I thank you for your ears, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.